Everything we have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host English News every morning.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friend, my lovely audiences, brothers and sisters, my dear fellow Californians. Welcome to the East-West Show, Jack Chow on the East-West, with a special honor today that visiting me is a big friend of California, is a big leader of California, my dear friend, former county supervisor of LA, the Honorable Michael Antonovich. In welcoming him, I would rather say a little lead line that being so many years on the job, being the supervisor of LA County, he in his own hand made LA as a county it is now. And on stepping down when the term limits, at the term limits, he never stopped. He continued his service, including he cares about the community, he cares about the well-being of Los Angeles County still. A while ago, we had him on the show talking about the BLM, a big movement across the nation, talking about the toppling downs of statues, of monuments, of historical monuments, so on and so forth. In the discussion, he mentioned something of we probably might not be aware of, that is a proposition number 16, stealing on us into the November ballot. So today, that is our subject of discussion, proposition number 16. Thank you, sir, for coming here. So in bringing the basic understanding to our audiences about the proposition 16, can you give us a little background information, please?
Well, it deals with establishing quotas in the state of California for colleges, hiring, etc. Well, going back in history, we had Proposition 209 that passed.
Mm-hmm.
When that initiative was started, it was signed in my office, and Larry Elder, the radio host and author, was the first one to sign that petition. And that was passed because we want people to be able to go to college, university on merit.
On merit basis.
Not on race, color, or creed, but
quota
merit.
basis. Mm-hmm.
And what we did, that was passed, and it was successful, and it benefited everyone. Well, there are groups that want to play God, and they want to say who goes to school, not on merit, but they have a way of saying we have to do this, we have to put so many people of this group on this class, so many on that class. That's nonsense. All that does is discriminate against that young man, that young woman who has studied their behind off. They get into class, they get into their advancement and for their achievement. And to put somebody in who did not qualify is wrong. You don't, let's take the Lakers or the Clippers. You don't take the person who can't make a free throw to put him in the game because it's not fair, he's not playing.
Exactly.
Well, he doesn't have the ability.
For example, they would never take me.
That's right, or me. You're right. I mean, the people who have practiced the skills, I know I saw the Michael Jordan series, The Last Dance, that was on ESPN. Michael Jordan practiced all the time, all his free throws. He was the one that was practicing, trying to make the rest of the team to practice as well. Well, that's why he was a success. So his free throw record was very high, and they won, as you saw, all of these games, but he was a clutch player because he knew how to win because he practiced. He was practicing.
Yeah, I went, once I read in a little essay talking about how he trained himself. On the average, he trains 4 hours
Yes.
himself on a day.
Yes.
On the average day.
Yes, and Magic Johnson, when he was talking about what he did as a boy, when he was a little boy, he dribbled. When his mom told him to go to the store, he would dribble to the store. He was always his dribbling. That was so. He's telling kids, you've got to practice. It's not just 1 hour, 2 hours a day.
So basketball becoming part of his body.
Becomes part of you. That's right. And my little boy, who's no longer little, he's 6'4½", a soccer player, but he's always practicing by himself with the ball, just doing some ball techniques. But that's part of their DNA. Well, kids that are going on to the university, your doctor that's going to operate on you, you want him to be the one who had the DNA, who studied,
of course,
and not one that slides in and gets a diploma, but doesn't have a good record of helping his patients succeed.
All right.
And the same goes with teachers or whatever the qualification you want to earn in going to university should be based upon merit and not discriminate because of color or because of race or because of his creed.
All right. But question is that we already had 209.
Yes.
And the 209 had been in place since 1996.
Yes, sir.
For the past 24 years, 209 was there doing good. All right? Why would people, in the first place though, create something to overturn it, to appeal it? Why?
Well, these are like the people that overturn the statues everywhere.
I know, but they must have a kind of a mindset. What kind of mindset would that be to create something? We know that was a SBC of 2014, and now 2019 ACA 5.
Yes.
Right. So SBC 5, ACA 5,
right.
now Proposition 16,
Yes.
efforts after efforts after efforts. Why would people do so? What kind of mindset are those, please?
They want power and control. They want power and control, not based upon the people who are the best qualified, but people they can control. Period. You want a society where people are achieving because of their ability and their opportunity to succeed, not somebody who politics is placed in a position because of politics, not because of merit. And we're going back to a political spoil system where they can pick who they want, and it's really power. It's just controlling.
Well, let's say you put a genius in the classroom of a university. That's one scenario.
Yes.
And then you put an idiot
Yes.
on the same position.
Yes.
So, of course, the outcome would be you will see a room full of idiots or elites, right? Now, how and why would this effect empower them? I mean, the politicians.
They control the people. They control the process. They are the ones who hand out the favors, and they probably get something on the side for handing out the favors. And it should not be that way. It should be colored blind.
Of course. Of course. You're not talking about the benefit.
Yes, right.
Now you're talking, for example, right now we're talking about the stimulus plan,
Yes.
right? In terms of stimulus plan, though, you make sure everybody gets it.
Yes.
Everybody gets his fair share, because nothing is a stimulus money.
Yes.
Now we're talking about choose the good guys
Yes.
to lead society.
And not the good guy on merit. The one that they feel is the good person. They have more
Choose
control.
the good guys on merit,
Yes.
academically good, right? To do the job, to
Right.
learn the trick to do the job to lead the society
You
go
have
on forward.
You have a movement, they don't want to have grades in classes anymore. No more grades because it discriminates the C student, the D student, and the F student. It discriminates. Nonsense. It motivates those people to want to study to do well. And you want to reward the people who do well. Not say, oh, well, why study? You can get a C, period.
Now under the system, we have A student, B student, C student, right? And then F,
Yes.
right? So they're saying that we are discriminating B, C, and D, especially F.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. By philosophy, is there anything that they can hold on as a orthodoxy or guideline or even tool in this society of human civilization?
You don't have a civilization with that type of criteria. You have anarchy.
Of course not.
You have anarchy.
Mm-hmm.
And you have chaos. Like, you can have peaceful demonstrations, that's fine, that's constitutional. But demonstrations that create violence and destruction, that is not a peaceful demonstration by what the constitutional amendment allows you. And those people should be held accountable for what they're doing.
All right, my dear friend, my lovely audience, today with me to my honor is the wonderful person of Southern California, former leader of LA County as LA County Supervisor, the Honorable Michael Antonovich. We're talking about proposition number 16, for which we want you to vote no. For your protection, for my protection, his protection, her protection, everybody's protection, and for the protection of human civilization. So stay with us. We'll be right back, please.
Continue to work on it now. It's called James. I host English news every morning.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friend, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show, ladies and gentlemen. My dear fellow Californians, California has something serious now. And sometimes you are told, sometimes you are not told. Because sometimes, most of the time, when something has stolen on you, you are not even aware of. And especially when something that has stolen on you, you voted yes to go ahead without all your own knowing. Why? It is because they cheated you with the label of the proposition. I give you an example last year of proposition number 7. Do you recall that? Proposition number 7 of the gas tax?
Yes, yes.
Of the gas tax?
Yes.
All right. It is because the state needs money. Why the state needed the money? Because they had squandered money, previous money, for something else, such as the pension plan, such as the retirement plan, such as the teachers' unions, such as the cops' union, whatsoever, that they promised overboard at the time of the good times. Now, at a time of bad time, they cannot come up with it, so they turn to us, our voters, taxpayers, to ask for money. What they ask for? They want to increase our gas tax. Okay, the bill was gas taxed, to increase the gas. We asked them, so what do you want to use the money? Where do you want to use the money, the gas tax money for? The gas tax money, one of the usage could be to fix the infrastructure, broken infrastructure, what so on and so forth. And then California needs money everywhere, everything, everywhere, all directions need money. So they created a bill, proposition number 7. All right, now, when it came to actual, the on the ballot, they changed. They play the game with you. On a note, it says your no would mean less of California infrastructure money. That's what they did. I remember it vividly. It might be not be exactly the word, phrases, or the commas, or the dots, or anyway. So, but basically it says your no would mean less infrastructure money. Take me as myself, for example. I look at it. Was that a proposition I was going against all the time? I probably should do a yes. I probably should do a yes. Even me, the one who was here, who had been here doing so many shows, motivating, calling upon people to vote no, had almost voted a yes against myself. Suddenly, when I realized, I said, "Oh my God, that was a lie. We were almost cheated, and we were cheated. We had been cheated, and facts proven that we had been successfully lied upon and cheated upon."
Because the Attorney General Becerra is the one who wrote the argument on the ballot statement, and they made it so like a no was a yes and a yes was a no. And what is really ironic, the money for the gas tax that has been raised has not always gone for road construction. They put it in other programs.
Now you can see a year later, a year and a half later, do you see any improvement around you?
And our gas tax is the highest in the nation.
Yes.
It's like $1.20 or whatever more in taxes that we pay versus other states' gas tax.
Back then, we're talking 61 cents altogether.
Yeah.
So where did the money go? We don't see. Now again, they are lying and say, for equal right to everybody, for equality, we give this proposition number 16. In other words, they are waving a flag of
Becerra
equality.
wrote the language again.
The same language.
Yeah.
Same language again.
Yeah.
So, meaning that your no would discriminate those other people, something like that. Right?
Right.
So, of course, the conclusion is a yes. So, such, my dear friend, of course, we all came here for the democracy. We all came here for the justice. We all came here for the free air. But sometimes, you understand, you have to understand, you got to understand, nothing is perfect. The imperfectness is right there that politicians lie. They lie to you. They lie a lot. Sometimes, such as last year, they were caught red-handedly. They lied over proposition number 7. Now, with the number 16. Now, number 16 originally was SCA 5. Right?
ACA 5.
And 6 years later, 5 years later, SCA 5, we recall that SCA 5 in the very year of number 14 lost a lot, right?
Right.
They lost. And at the losing and the defeat of SCA 5, I had a show of celebration with a bunch of my friends, right? Some of them warned me, say, "Jack, wait, it will come back." Number one, I promise, she says, it was she. She says, I gave you 2 promises. Promise number 1, it will come back. Promise number 2, when it does come back, it will be wearing another name. And now I give you a number 3 promise that when it comes into the ballot, though, it will bear a little explanation of the argument. What your yes would mean, what your no would mean. Your yes would mean support of equal right, you know will be discriminating people. Am I right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Why would our politics, under such beautiful flag of democracy, would act like this?
Power corrupts, and absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Power corruption.
Lord Acton said that in the 1800s. Sometimes the people get the power and all of a sudden they become omnipotent and they want to control. It's all politics. It's not based on merit. It's based on politics. You know, as an aside, I'm going to get a little political right now. President Trump is the only person in recent times that has kept basically all of the promises he said he was going to do in less than 4 years. So you can keep your promises. So when we help defeat those discriminatory policies of the past, we have to be alert, but we have to be aware that the other side is going to try and come back and get it next time, They never stop. Our problem, we achieve success and then we go home and celebrate. They achieve defeat, they go home and build for the next war.
Yeah. Next war, yeah.
You know,
My problem is that when they come back, I welcome them come back with a flag saying that we go against you, right? We go against you, we will never agree on you, and so on and so forth. But my problem is that sometimes they kind of like put on a face mask.
yes,
Of course, the actual face masks these days work a lot, but politically, if you put yourself a face mask, so people can tell who is behind the mask. Am I right?
absolutely. Follow
So-
the money.
So now we say that we, in the democratic country, you can vote somebody in, you can vote somebody out,
Right.
right? So without exposing themselves, they operated behind in such ways, so you will not even get a chance to vote them out.
Right.
And then the other day, I had this interview with a wonderful lady, Betty Tom Chu.
Know her well.
You know Betty Tom Chu, right?
Extremely well.
You know her very well. And she pointed out that the SCA 5, ACA 5, proposition number 16, have something to do with the BLM movement.
Yes.
Or the BML movement has something to do with the
The
proposition
money
number 16.
behind all of those organizations, a lot of it's from George Soros, but you can check those organizations, they all funnel into all these groups. It's you know, they're undermining a free society.
Another word is politically oriented, money driven. Am I right?
Say that again.
Is a politically oriented, money driven.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
All right, my dear friend, I love money, but I hate talking about money. Every time I have to do it, I feel bad about it. But that's a fact of life or cost of living. So let's take a moment out. We come back to continue to find out how exactly these two are related, how exactly we are pushed over to the corner that we have to fight back, and how we want to fight back. Stay with us, please.
Senator everything expected straight. It's like it seems wrong way.
My name is Paul James. I host English News here in the morning. And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, my dear friends, my lovely audiences. Welcome back to the show. Jack Shaw on the East West. Like I said in the previous segment, that California has come to a critical moment. Of course, the whole nation is right now at a very critical moment, especially California, because we are confronted from all directions, right? And one, we have the cross-line pandemic that hits everybody, anybody and everybody. We are staying home. We're staying home with nowhere to go, no restaurant, no park, no nothing, no swimming pool, no beach, not even a barber, not even a salon to go till now. This is one. And the two, we see the BLM everywhere. In Portland, 2 days ago, there was declared once again a riot, right? And the fire, I mean, the tear bombs and rubber bullets and stuff like that had to be applied once again, so on and so forth. And thirdly, politically, if I quote from a dear friend of mine, Mr. Chris Nibby, he's the director of Hollywood. I believe you heard the movie Tibet the Truth. He was the director of it.
Right.
He was the director of it. He wrote to me last night saying that they are taking advantage of the panic, of the pandemic, amid the movement of BLM, to insert this bill to your ballot November so that you pass without knowing. That's his analysis. So why would it happen that way? Please.
I don't know, but the BLM movement is just really a front group. They believe in Marxism. Eric Mann, who was the tutor of one of the leaders of the black movement, BLM, and he served, I think, 19 months in prison because he was a weatherman with the SDS with the riots in the 60s.
Mm-hmm.
So he's a complete Saul Alinsky advocate, basically a Marxist communist, and their system is to break down the family, the nuclear family, that they want to have control. They want to destroy all property. They want to defund the police. Well, that's what Hitler did in Germany. He defunded the police, and then they came in, and the brown shirts took over Germany, and you had a crazy man kill millions of people. But that's their, they believe that in revolution. They're not there to help all lives matter. The federal agents that was murdered in Oakland, well, his life mattered. His sister was a city councilwoman, she's a Republican city councilwoman in Lancaster, right here in LA County.
Mm-hmm.
And his life mattered. But that didn't count because he was a law enforcement, we had to kill him,
But
that's nonsense.
every time mattered.
And
every human life mattered.
every life mattered.
Yeah.
And now we're seeing babies being killed through random shootings and the Antifa, the riots that are taking place. And then yesterday I read they're now in Portland going into the neighborhoods, destroying property. In the neighborhoods, not just in the street.
All right.
It is crazy. And then the police chief, she resigns because she can't defend the people. She can't defend her own department from the violence. This
Excuse
is
me.
crazy. We're living in an upside down world, and it's
All
time
right,
that people
all
wake
right.
up because the violence is coming to your neighborhood. It's not just something you see on the news.
Probably the answer is right there. In the statement of herself, what's her name? Patricia,
Yes.
was the leader?
chief.
Patricia,
Oh, yes, yes.
what
I
was
know
her
you-
last name?
Yes.
And she said, referring herself and another woman who's also leader, she said, we are trained organizers.
Yes.
Sentence number one. Sentence number 2, we are trained Marxists.
Yes. Yes.
So she confirmed that they are the trained Marxists. To lots of people, especially young people, unless you go to school, you study philosophy, or you study history, or you study politics, you might never get a chance to learn who Marxist is, or who Marxism is, or the person Karl Marx was. I came from China, from a communist country. I know what Marxism means, right? It's horrible. It's horrible. It's terrible, right? And people die under this. Okay, basically, Marxism goes against the capitalism, right? Saying that capitalism is built upon the blood of the working class. Only by overturning the capitalism can the workers live their own life. That's their principle. So violence, violence, violence after violence, revolution after revolution was the key. So now we see it. Now we see it, right? So instead of all lives matter, it's only one life matter, all right? Instead of a protest in a peaceful environment, you do it in a violence way. And on the other hand, politically, you steal something, you insert something into your bill, so that it changes the nature of it. Sir, what do we want to do? We want to cry as regular people.
You have to demand that our elected officials enforce the law against the violence that's taking place. And you also have to ensure that you participate in elections and vote, but also participate in your community. The strength of a nation is the composite of the families. Strong fathers and mothers with children, grandparents, aunts and uncles, cousins, etc. That's the nuclear family. That's the strength of a nation right there. But if you turn around where parents no longer have control over their children, the government's going to raise the children, not the parents, you're going to have a kind of like the movie Hunger Games that you saw, or like 1984, George Orwell's book. We're seeing that not just in fiction, but in reality today. And the people in communist countries have seen that in reality. Venezuela is one of the strongest countries in the world. Now that it's Marxist, it's in the toilet. And the people are leaving, or are in prison, being violated.
Take China, for example. China was a socialist country built upon Marxism. However, instead of turning capitalism down totally, they borrowed the vessel of capitalism to go fishing.
Yes.
So now they capture both ways. Number one, by Marxism, they are playing good.
Yes.
And number two, by socialism, they're playing good too.
Yes.
Look at Russia. Founded in 1918 or 17, no, 1918, died in 1994 though, right? Based upon Marxism, failure was their destiny. And they disassembled themselves. There is no longer the Soviet Union but Russia now. Venezuela was another example. They went down the toilet.
Cuba?
Cuba is another one that is vivid for so many years, right? So now, with those many proven people like Bernie Sanders, right? Like this Patricia lady, wonderful lady, beautiful lady, right? Openly claim themselves to be Marxism. Obviously, there is a political agenda behind it.
Because they can become the person on the throne. They're more interested in the power over people than in empowering people, empowering communities, empowering children to succeed to their dreams. They want to be the one who determines, not you, the individual, achieving your dreams. They want to achieve their dreams by controlling people. They're the slave master.
Probably the key is that they want to be the leader of Marxism, not a one regular person under the system of Marxism.
And the church, religion is an enemy, so they destroy the churches. They destroy religion.
Oh, in Cultural Revolution, the same thing happened in China. All churches, all temples, everything just flattened.
Yes. And now it's being reached into what's happening in Hong Kong today, which had a free society. Now they have lost their freedom.
So in other words, the warning sign is everywhere.
Yes, sir.
All right. My dear friend, lovely audiences, we're talking about something right in front of us, and we're talking about something in the distance that we have already seen, we have already foreseen, that we would like to share with you. Today, to my honor, sharing this moment with me is my good friend, the Honorable Michael Antonovich. We take a moment out, and we will come back to put everything together. So stay with us.
It's called James.
And the Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely Californians, fellow Californians, brothers, sisters. We love you. Me and my team, we work every single minute to provide information to you that we feel necessary for you to know. Number two, most importantly, we search in the dark to find out information that has been hiding away from you. So together we bring to you. In doing so, joining me to the pleasure of my whole team is our former County Supervisor of LA, the Honorable Michael Antonovich. Once again, sir, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And by the way, with your excellent leadership, Los Angeles County stands tall and is now even doing better. Right? I know Catherine Barger, myself, and we did have a few times of talking, and she confirmed that it was a hell of a heritage that she took from you. Right. So anyway, long live the right politics. We really want to talk about the scary politics. Now, with the confirmation of the leader of BLM being trained Marxism, we can tell for sure that the movement are on the go, on the run at large towards Marxism. So what is Marxism? I told you last segment that lots of young people might not even know. Marxism goes totally against capitalism, and without capitalism, we're talking about nothing. We're talking about things in the thin air, right? So Marxism doesn't produce anything. Does Marxism produce anything?
Chaos.
Chaos.
Death, destruction.
All right, that's a big problem now. And in Portland, it is said that the looters are going to visit your houses. That is a very, very, very dangerous signal. Now, politically, we have proposition number 16 that has been stealing into our November ballot. Sir, let me ask you one thing. By law, as a mere man, can I call upon my audiences to go ahead vote no on proposition number 16?
Of course.
All
Free
right.
speech.
I'm exercising my right of free speech, right?
You are exercising your constitutional right of free speech.
All right. It is my constitutional right to call upon my audience who trust me as a good guy, even though not handsome, but very good. I'm handsome inside anyway. to go ahead, vote no on proposition number 16. 2 days ago, in another show with my friend Betty Tom Chu, Mary Barkey, she is the Orange County Board of Trustee of Education, and Mark Ng, founder and CEO, director of Californians for Equal Right, and Joy Chen, the outreach director of the same organization. With the four of them, we made a call to say, forget the hustle rustles of the politics going back and forth, right? Just to keep in mind a very simple signal that once you come across proposition 16, just give it a no.
Yes.
Is it safe to say so?
Well, I would hope we still have our constitutional rights. I know they're taking.
That's even a bigger question.
But it's important that we tell the people the dangers of Proposition 16. It's going to impact their children, their grandchildren, their friends, their neighbors, and it's important that it's defeated. I mean, we did very well with Prop 209. Now they want to repeal that. And again, we want to encourage people to study, to do well, to achieve their dreams. We don't want people to not want to study just to get in to college because they know someone. We want them to get in because they earned it. Because when you leave college and go in the real world and start working, you want to be able to achieve by earning it, not having.
The basic logic is that when something that has been there for 24 years doing perfectly,
Yes.
has done nothing wrong, you have to have a special, strong, much stronger reason why you want to overturn it. Right?
And their reason is power and control.
All right. Now, the reason is clear, and now with the statement of a Marxism, we know that's a Marxism statement. With the statement of Marxism, we know that's a Marxism politics. Right? With me, who is a living fossil, to testify what Marxism is, what even socialism is. Now, speaking of the quote-unquote socialism, though, China is no longer, China is never the socialist country on the book. It is socialism and capitalism combined.
It was a mixed economy. They had moved from socialism to a mixed economy
Yeah, of course.
and doing extremely well.
When there's a bank, why not borrow the money from the bank?
Yes.
Right? Where when there's a vehicle that can take you out, why just borrow it instead of making it yourself? Right? So that's why in China they borrow the capital boat to go fishing and come back with a shipload of fish. That's it. Now if you're talking about a system that overturns capitalism, or you're talking about you bring the humanity to the doomsday. What you do now is the gala of doomsday. Is it dangerous? That dangerous? Is that dangerous?
Well, Venezuela, from a capitalistic country to now a socialist, they don't have food.
Oh yeah, even clean water, drinking
They
water.
don't have clean water. So
Yeah.
how are they going to spread all this prosperity to the people when they don't have food for the people to eat? That's what socialism has done to that economy. And that happens in the other economies where they take over.
Never sustainable.
Right.
Never sustainable.
No.
Right? So that's a failure. That's a total failure. Okay, before you can see how much a failure is, it's going to be gone anyway. It's draining down to the toilet already. There was not even an example for you to see because it will just disappear like it never existed. Right? Say Russia, for example. Russia, though military strong once upon a time, they had to stay in long queues. People all queued up every morning for their 2, 3, 4 slices of bread in the morning and 1 cup of coffee. That's what they call their system. And the other day I brought to the show what my childhood was when it was under totally socialism. It wasn't until much later when China opened its door to let capitalism come in, we were
like
kind of dying.
400 million people out of poverty in the middle class.
Yeah.
Remarkable achievements.
Yes.
And
the remarkability is that the combination of capitalism and the socialism, something like that. I'm not saying that I'm an expert on whateverism. I am talking about
the capitalism allowed people to invest, become businessmen, businesswomen. The shops are open. No more just government store with not good products.
Yeah.
But you had all these private little vendors, and what happened? Everybody got rich. The country got rich because their standard of living was increased.
Yeah, you're right.
And now they want to take that away. Then you're going to go back to the old days. And the old days, you don't have the progress and the prosperity that we had under a free market system.
2 days ago, it was the day that the Mayflower returned, the model of Mayflower returned to Plymouth, the original port, after 3 years of restoration or remodeling, something like that. And the news says that it is not only a big news on the return, it is refreshment of the Mayflower Compact that says that a government is only a government when it is created by people and we agree to respect. Other than that, you're not our government, right? You're saying that if a government tries to lead people back to the old days, though, well, that's not the answer.
Government is there to protect the framework of laws, responsibilities, and rights.
All right, okay. Mm-hmm.
And your right to demonstrate is not your right to destroy property.
And it's money, capitalist money injected into the structure that function.
Right.
All right. Okay, my dear friend, we're a little over time. We forgot the track of time, but I'm so happy I did it with my dear friend, the Honorable Michael Antonovich, who I always rely upon when he was in office, when he was out of office, and either way, he's a big brother of the community. He will remain that way. Thank you very much for sharing lights on the issues. And to my audiences, thank you very much for watching. We are not done yet with proposition number 16. We will come back talking about the same thing. So keep that in mind. Always keep that in mind. Vote a no, N-O, no, on proposition number 16. Thank you very much.